Welcome back to our show, your show, Let's Talk Stocks. In studio with us this morning is Miss Gail Ansine. Of course, she's in charge of research at Cumax Wealth Limited. And of course, she's here to talk to us about the capital markets. And maybe we'll focus a little bit on the stock market, the JC, and how it's been doing. Gail, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with you, Neilson.
Absolutely great to talk to you. Now, over the last quarter or so, how you see how the market has performed? I mean, there's been general sentiment that the market's been down, but let's look at the last quarter. What have you been seeing?
Yes, Neilson, the market has been down for the year. 2023 has in fact been a challenging year. What we've seen, however, is a turnaround in the fortunes for the month of May, with just about all the indices recording positive performance, and that's very encouraging given that we've had straight declines since the month of May.
So you're saying September, coming out of the summer, you saw some adjustments?
Definitely, we did see some adjustments right there.
All right. And which stocks do you think would have pushed that? What are we seeing?
Okay, well, what has been helping a number of the companies is earnings. We did see some improvement in earnings, and that's across sectors such as insurance. We saw improvement as well in transportation and manufacturing. So with the reopening of post the COVID-19 pandemic and in just the general increase in business activity, what we have been seeing is that companies have had a turnaround in terms of profitability and just a growth in revenues as well as profits, as demand for services have improved.
So generally, if you were to look at sectors, we say certainly the services sector has been coming along, and of course, if we talk about services, then we've been seeing in tourism.
Absolutely.
Which is big in terms of our turnaround as an economy.
Definitely. Of course, what we saw happening with the COVID-19 pandemic, the novel pandemic, is that there was a lockdown of economies. But of course, post the pandemic, there has been a global demand for services. Persons have just been increasing their demand for services, and so we've had a significant spin-off in terms of our tourist industry. We've had an increase in stopover arrivals, and so a number of companies have been benefiting, and it's also evidence in their performance as well.
If there were tourism companies that listed on the market, which ones would you pick as the big ones to look at and to watch? Because we're going into winter tourist season and we expect a bumper season. So are there companies listed on the market that you may say, well, let me watch this one?
Definitely. So first we could take a look at companies such as Dolphin Cove. Of course, there's a major company in terms of tourist attraction. They also have been performing creditably, and they also have very, very good dividends. So their general performance is very good, and their yield is also very good. And that's very attractive given the fact that a number of stocks have not been seeing significant upturn in terms of capital appreciation. So investors definitely stand to benefit from gains on dividends. What we also saw, you mentioned tourism. We're having improvement in our internal infrastructure economy-wise. So we had the reopening of the new highway. Knutsford Express has done a tremendous job in terms of building out its operations. They have been expanding their business activities. So with the improvement in terms of our infrastructure and our transportation services across the island, that's also a company that will benefit. And of course, we know that they service both international airports. And of course, they're also used by tourists.
Would you say, certainly for Knutsford Express, initially we saw them as a transport company moving people, but the addition for them certainly over the last couple of years of moving cargo,
Absolutely.
would that have helped to build out the revenue streams, you think?
Absolutely. They have been very strategic in terms of launching their operations and building out their services to improve just the gamut of what it is that they offer to customers. So they're not just for transportation, as you mentioned, but cargo. And just the fact, too, that they're not just domestically focused, but they're also having a focus for regional and international, because I know a number of persons traveling overseas utilize their service. And these are key elements to be considered when taking into consideration stocks and companies and businesses for investing. So definitely Nuts for the Express is a stock and a company to watch.
We spoke a little bit about dividends, and you spoke about Dolphin Cove and their dividends. Which other company you would recommend as a good dividend company going forward? As we, the capital gains are not there so much, but there's been a big discussion around dividends in recent times.
Absolutely. Carreras is also another company that pays dividends. Yes. BNS also is another company that pays dividends. So overall, there are companies listed on the market. It's just about the selection and being selected in the companies. Despite the fact that the environment has been challenging, what is key is to take into consideration the companies that have navigated this environment. And this climate doesn't always last. Markets do go through cycles. And so what it is that is key is for investors to consider entering the market. The mantra still holds, buy low. So that when the market sees the upturn, investors who are invested will definitely benefit from the attractive pricing.
Gail, you spoke to the building out of our infrastructure, and you spoke to dividends. And there's another company that I think that fits that bill in terms of the building out of the highway, but also they're very liquid, and that's something that has also concerned the market in terms of the ability to buy and sell shares when you want. And I think Trans-Jamaican Highway, for example, a very liquid stock, trades very frequently and still doing well. What's your view on that?
Trans-Jamaican Highway, that is an excellent choice as well, Neilson. The company has performed creditably since the listing, and also since the start of the year, it's up almost 100%. And in addition to that, they have paid a very, very attractive dividend. Their dividend yield is almost a double digits. So that in and of itself, investors are benefiting from capital appreciation as well as the dividend income. And with the reopening of the highway, the recent Mandeville leg of highway, that too is going to be expected to provide additional income. And as other projects are underway, as part of the Highway 2000 project, the company is very well poised for growth over the medium to long term.
So you're saying, Gail, even though we've seen stories, we've heard the discussions, the market is down, the regular Jamaican story, nothing now gone, there are stocks that have been performing creditably.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's just about making the right selection and being selected. And as I said, it is not just capital appreciation, it is dividend income. And what is also interesting is, despite the fact that the environment is difficult, there are a number of companies with very, very strong balance sheets. They have cash flow, and they are actually in the process of re-engineering and restructuring their operations. We see recently companies such as 138, they're into real estate, so they're not shy or afraid of what's happening in the market. They're actually launching, looking to pivot, and that is just really what you have to do when you go through cycles such as the one that we're experiencing right now. And also, once it is that we take a look and see companies do have a history. Equities are not for the short term, it is for the long term. So it is a matter of taking a look at the companies that have been around for a long time and have navigated the environment and have done so successfully. And the beauty is the prices are very attractive. And it's all about buying at attractive prices so that when there's an upturn, you reap the rewards of higher gains.
All right. So you spoke to stocks being long term and strong balance sheets. What though are you seeing generally in the environment, in this economy going forward, as we look going into the December period where some companies will do very well because the people get excited, there are a little bit more money in circulation. Which companies are likely to benefit from this if you were to pick any?
Well, definitely, I think the ones that have been around for a very long time, the ones that are currently re-engineering their operations. And we spoke about those that are exposed recently to the tourist industry. Right. We have the ones such as Grace Kennedy, Seprod. They have a strong management team, strong fundamentals. And they have gone through cycles like this. So the challenging operating environment that we're currently experiencing is not novel to them. They are accustomed to it. And as the saying goes, in every challenge lies opportunities.
Would a company like Jamaica Broilers fit this bill?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Jamaica doing a lot of baking and roasting of chicken.
And also, what is excellent about Jamaica Broilers is that they have a very, very well diversified revenue stream. So they're not just reliant upon one geography or demography for income. And as it is that they've expanded regionally and doing quite well in the US market.